Let's go. I think we're on the road to success. Here we go. Let's try the sound. Where is the sound? There it is. Can I hear the sound? Let's try the. Yes, it's working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglosh for the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. Well, we're planning a meetup on the 31st of August to celebrate 3 years of daily marketing news. Heaven help us. About 850 videos up on YouTube. Anyway, you know, I really appreciated some of the comments yesterday. I got a bunch of them that were very, very encouraging, and you have no idea how much that means to me. You know, I got one last time I talked about Ritson. I got one from a brand manager at Procter & Gamble, which was really like, whoa. And he complimented me on telling the truth about marketing, which is a hard thing because that's not what we do in marketing. And on to the news. Okay, this was a great little article or video from Boston Dynamics, and they do videos about robots, and they have a later one where it shows the robots flawlessly executing this obstacle course, and you say, wow, if they can do that, they could run missions in faraway places and not put people in harm's way. But what you forget is that they've run this obstacle course thousands of times, perhaps. Robots don't get sick of it. And none of the boxes probably moved unless they couldn't ever make that leap. And I mean, I've watched over and over, I've watched the one where they do it flawlessly, and you think, this is just incredible. But they said it took months to make it. And sometimes when we are impressed with the successes of others, we forget that, like Tiger Woods played amateur golf at par for 15 years at least before he went pro. You just don't appreciate the time spent, the endless time spent in learning and perfecting and falling down. I used to be a ski racer and a ski instructor, and people would ski up to me and say, how did you learn to ski like that? I said, I fell down a lot. I probably fell down more than everyone else on this hill put together. Now I can hardly walk, which I didn't bank on exactly. But anyway, let's go on. Close that up, and here we go. Let's go over to Tom Fishburne, my buddy who inspires me every week. Brand fatigue and brand consistency. And it probably should be labeled marketing fatigue. Because most of the time, well, here, let's read it. It's time for a new campaign. I'm tired of seeing this one. It has totally run its course. Let's retire this campaign now. But we haven't even run it yet. Let's also change our packaging, logo, and agency, right? And, of course, the trouble is that to the extent that you've done a good job with your brand, maybe it's what customers look for. Maybe it's what's been riveted into their brain, and you need to leave it alone. But marketing people, and, we had this trouble with catalogs, and, I had a boss, and we're playing golf this Saturday. I found out he doesn't have a he doesn't have a LinkedIn profile because I tried to cite him yesterday. So he probably doesn't see these things. I'll tease him about that. But he used to. I remember one time we were working on the catalog, and this was before we really had, we really had full what you see is what you get capability. We would have to run galleys of type, and for a long time we would have just pages of text, and we'd have to send them to the typesetter, and then they would type them in with the codes and stuff and get them into column spacing and things like that, and then we'd get them back in long strips, and and we would have to run those through the waxer, and then we would glue them down, and if there was a change, we would have to X-Acto knife out the word and get a new word. And I remember him noticing, the copywriters would oftentimes start with the manufacturer's copy. And I know I hit dismiss on this, but it doesn't. I knew this was going to happen today, but I don't know what to do about it. My alarm is going off, and I really honestly don't know how to stop it. So we'll just throw it across the room so you can't hear it. There goes my clock. I'll keep hearing it, but you won't. I accidentally swiped the wrong way because my phone was on the stand upside down. So anyway, we would have to cut the words out, but they would start with manufacturer's copy, and he noticed that the word gray was spelled two different ways, G-R-E-Y and G-R-A-Y. Both are acceptable, but I don't know, for whatever reason. And so we went through and made them all consistent. I don't remember which way we made them. And then about a week before everything was due, he had us change them back the other way, whether it was E or A, I don't remember. I think I have an article somewhere that is talking about when I was doing a press okay at Christmas Eve, and the printer's Christmas party was raging around me because we would always try to get in the mail the week between Christmas and New Year's so that we would be hitting in the first week or so of January, because that's when new budgets come out and everybody has money, especially in small business. And I got to thinking that I would love to run a head-to-head test with the catalog as it was, say, 6 weeks early, and the catalog as it was after we had fixed all of the little details and changed them and then changed them back and then changed them back. So anyway, Tom Fishburne says marketers get tired of their advertising before consumers do. Right. And if you write copy, you write articles, if you write books, you'll be tired of it way before it ever gets to the people. It's certainly true that clients throw away brand assets too early. Okay. In 2009, PepsiCo apparently decided to revamp Tropicana's packaging, and their sales went down 20% as a result. And PepsiCo said, we thought it would be important to take this brand and bring it or evolve it into a more current or modern state. Sales dropped 20%. Tropicana backed off, saying, we underestimated the deep emotional bond they had with the original packaging. That's probably not at all what happened. Probably what happened was people said, where's the Tropicana? It's like, I make my vodka sours with 50/50 and it's not in the stores anymore. I can't find it anywhere. And it may be that they just relabeled it and rebranded it, and I can't find it. My wife sends me to the grocery store, and I was getting some kind of fake chicken. And there's maybe 6 or 10 different kinds of fake meat from this morning something about morning morning blend or something like that. And I've got my camera and I'm going through the shelves, and she says, well, try over there. And I'm going, finally she finds it. I can't find it. So, a little bit of speed bump in the buying process can really destroy the process. If you decide to make your box, like WhatsApp, when you aren't logged in properly, changes its little symbol on the tab to red. I don't know why they do it. I'm always looking for the green one. It's not green, it's red. For some reason, they lose me. And Scott Adams said, software developers are continually trying to make you stupid in changing that stuff. So it's not so much brand consistency as it is making it easier to buy the stuff, right? I don't know much about branding, and I've said this often. It's a Ritson thing. But the hallmark of great marketers is taking a brand to the next level without changing it. And I think there's something to that. So inside the mind of the consumer, my husband, my kids, friends, Fifi, home, sunsets, travel, me, mom, dad, careers, career. I don't see our I don't see our brand of pickle relish anywhere. It's inconceivable. This is a brand loyalist. What we do, the reason we pick a brand is it simplifies the buying decision. And so if you complicate it by changing it all, we might as well grab the generic. We might as well go to Aldi. Just buy whatever they got because it'll be okay. Anyway, we need to change the packaging. We need to change the advertising. We need to change the agency. That's the CMO. And then the CEO says, we need to change the CMO. Yeah, and that's, the average tenure of a CMO, they track this. It's about 18 months. So have fun while it lasts. Brand reputation. So here's a little bitty tree. This got cut in half. Here's a little sprout. Here's a sapling, they would call it. A small tree, big tree, monster tree. Oops. They all, and notice they all have the saws and an axe. Everybody's standing around. Oops. How long will it take our PR agency to rebuild our reputation? Next quarter? It's not just that. It's not what your brand stands for. It's even just how easy is it to find it. Okay, so that's enough of it. And here's an article by Forbes, 12 good reasons to leverage more traditional advertising. This isn't that good. I'll read a couple of them, but what it basically, it says, although it is true that digital campaigns measure the effectiveness of efforts more precisely, often with statistically insignificant numbers and without context and without valid split testing with self-selecting sample sets. All of those things happen in digital. And one thing you never know in digital is you don't know who engaged and didn't buy. You know who engaged and bought, and you have to take the word of Facebook or Google about who they sent it to, and you can make really no assumptions exactly about who saw it. So don't tell me it's more precise. It's less precise. It can't do nearly what mail can do. But anyway, besides that, didn't like that. You can use print as an educational opportunity for the old parents. You can reach specific groups. You have a tactile experience. Now this was bizarre. Apparently, a great example is the IKEA magazine ad for a baby crib that could also be used as a pregnancy test. And I'm thinking, why would you use a baby crib as a pregnancy test? No, it was the ad that was the pregnancy test. Oh, okay, I get it. Peeing on this ad may change your life. So you could apparently tear it out of the thing and pee on the ad and then know about and then after you've peed on it, take it to the store? Oh, I hope it had a QR code. You can't do that in a digital channel. On that note, we better go on. And there's a bunch of other ideas. So here's a really good article by Andy Wood in the Drum. What he says, this is the best line is right here, the first one. If the pandemic experience has taught the retail sector anything, it is stick to the fundamental principles of good marketing practice. I see so many articles that say because of the pandemic, we have to change everything. We have to reinvent everything. We have to, plunge into digital and all that sort of thing. No, the fundamentals still apply. Amazon kind of made that case that the internet changed everything. It didn't. You still have to make some, you still have to sell it for more than you bought it from because you've got overhead. You got to make people aware of your new product, and you've got development like the robots and all the rest of it. And of course, all retailers should have been segmenting, which they're not. Believe me, they're not. They don't differentiate the advertising to their existing customers versus their prospects. Most could use mail to do that, but they don't. All communication should have a commercial purpose in mind, retain high-value customers, and move less valuable customers up the value chain. think that's really profound. This is a profound article. I like this, Andy. So what has happened? Well, there's longer online consideration periods, and this is where mail can really shine because mail can hang around for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or on my desk it could be almost forever. And so, what I do is I save it because I need to call somebody. Like I got to call a Uline, and I got to return a box I had. There's my Uline catalog, big as life. It also works as a cutting board if you want to cut apples. See, here's my knife. Excuse me, I have heartburn from my eggs. I got off the Dormition fast, and now I have to be careful because I go right back to spicy foods and things. So anyway, customers, it's been observed that customers or prospects receiving direct mail go to the web, right? And with your attribution models, oftentimes the web will take credit. The web will say, well, it's the first we've seen them, so it must be the website, the beautiful website that's driving the traffic, right? Be careful how you do attribution. Most of it's bunk. The only right way to do attribution is with holdout testing, and the problem is you can't holdout test your website. You can holdout test your digital advertising, but the impact of any one ad is so small that you probably won't even notice. Procter & Gamble paused or cut their digital budget by 40%, and their sales actually went up. Keep that in mind. Okay. But then 9/10 of them use an offline method. So they go back to offline. And if that isn't tracked well, then web gets all the credit. Gets the credit of the mail and the credit of the call center, etc. Content is becoming increasingly important, and that's something you can do in mail because you have oftentimes a lot of space. It's not just a banner or something like that. Because of the delayed reaction, content delivered by direct mail has a chance to work. The customer journeys are becoming more complex. Google even admitted that a couple of months ago. They put out a paper and said, we don't really know what happens. We see the first time they search for something and we see if they bought, but it's a mess. And the way to verify that is think about your own customer journeys. They're a mess. If you can't predict you, don't think you can predict me, right? So if you don't have a near real-time view, and of course that's a euphemism, all data is historical. You can only analyze it after it's happened, after the fact. It's all a historical analysis. And the key to great marketing is not to react to individual customer nuances. The key to great marketing is to consistently build into the brain of your target market so that when they need it, when they make the decision to buy, they think of you first. That's the traditional method. Listen to Andrew Ettinger. He works with HVAC contractors. Your HVAC is probably working right now, or it isn't on right now. But one of these days, it's probably not going to work because eventually everything stops working. The guy you want to be is the guy who comes to mind. Andrew tells a story of a guy in Connecticut who mails, 20,000 pieces a month or something, and he just keeps mailing them postcards year after year after year. And when a hurricane hits, he can't handle all the work. And you know what? Most of the time he can't handle all the work because he does good work. And when something happens, people know they probably have it magnetically stuck to the refrigerator. That's the guy you want to be. Not the guy who, because I typed water heater exploded, they think they can get there faster than the person that's already in my mind. You can't beat recall. Have a great day. Something to think about. Like and share. Your friends will know you're smart.